Next on the list is Docker Compose. Docker Compose is nothing but if you want to create multiple containers, then you will go for the Docker Compose. Basically, if you want to create multiple containers, say for example in a 3-tier architecture, you have to create front end, middleware and the back end, all those things. Say for example front end, you either can go with Java or Spring Boot kind of thing. On top of that, you also has to create some database. So in those scenarios, you will go with this Docker Compose. Let's see what are the commands required for Docker Compose. So Docker Compose, basically the file will be there in YAML named docker-compose file, wherein you will define all the required softwares and the required port redirection, everything. We'll see that in the later session, but on a nutshell, Docker Compose file is the file where all the required softwares will be listed out, and you can up that using Docker Compose up command. So this basically create a containers defined in the Docker Compose file. So similarly, you can also bring all the services at one shot, and that is Docker Compose down, which will bring down all the services. You can also do the rebuild or build, which is whenever you do some changes, it has to reflect on the other services. So for that, you do build, which will actually rebuild the entire steps. You can also list the entire containers. Before we have seen Docker PS, which is giving the basic containers list, but if you pass Docker Compose PS, so that will bring us the composed, the Docker Compose YAML file listed services, all the details it will be mapping up. Similarly, you can also do the logging, the logs checking by passing Docker Compose logs. And this is again scaling is very important when there is a demand for the containers and there is a huge load required. So you use that --- scale and then followed by your service name and then number of containers you want to scale it up. So this is only manual approach, but there is automated version of it also. Similarly, if you want to run any particular command on the Docker Compose, you can do that. That is Docker Compose run, and your service name, your command you want to execute on top of that. So this is useful when you want to perform any upgrade or such on top of that service. You can also list the volumes which is created by Docker Compose, because Docker Compose, once you execute the Docker Compose up, it will create a services and then the mount points also, because it has multiple softwares in it. So you can list all those things using Docker volume ls. Similarly, you can also pass your services which is pointed to a particular volume by using the Docker volume pass and the service name. You can also unpause it, and you can also get the details of it by using ps command.